What's up, everybody? This is Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, and you're watching CCG TV in Columbus, Georgia.
Welcome to Columbus Connections. I am your host, David Britt, and this is a special edition. Now, unless you've been under a rock at the bottom of the ocean, you've heard about sports commentator Stephen A. Smith. He's been around some controversy regarding some comments he made pertaining to a domestic violence situation with NFL player Ray Rice. Now, Stephen A. Smith was in Columbus. Now, get this, out of everywhere else in the world, the very first people that heard his reaction to his new suspension for us in Columbus. It actually happened while he was down here for the SAMARC basketball camp fundraiser, and he spoke. And now you may be wondering, why did they let this guy speak with this controversy? Well, he didn't shy away from it. He gave his honest explanation about what happened. He explained where he was coming from. So he's going to talk about that in his actual speech. And I also got a chance to interview him and just get an idea of what it feels like to be Stephen A. Smith while dealing with such controversy. So check it out right here exclusively.
To get the seriousness, or rather the negativity, out of the way, please allow me to divert from the purpose of my conversation with you tonight to get a little bit personal to all the ladies in here. I am standing before you at this moment in time, a suspended individual from ESPN for the next week. My comments on ESPN last Friday resonated in such a fashion as it pertained to domestic violence that ESPN felt compelled to do so. I feel compelled to let you know it was simply me misspeaking a particular word when I used the word provoke, as opposed to alluding to domestic violence. I have been a staunch advocate against domestic violence my entire life. I have been raised by 5 women. I have 8 nieces, 4 older sisters, the greatest mother in the world, 2 daughters, and any man that has ever come in my presence and think that domestic violence is okay, quickly learned, quick, fast, and in a hurry, that wasn't flying my way. My problem is, in trying to articulate my position, I used a trigger word because I got caught up. And as a result, that created a maelstrom of controversy. And it ultimately cost me this being suspended for a week. I support ESPN's decision to suspend me. I understand that I work not just for ESPN, but they are owned by Walt Disney, who is represented by Mickey Mouse. And as a result, when you say things that are a bit risque, okay, sometimes you're gonna pay the piper for that. I accept responsibility that comes along with that. I accept the suspension, but I felt the need to bring that up because there are ladies in this room. And I want you to know you are looking at a man and listening to a man as we speak that has never, ever in my life put my hands on a woman, never would. And more importantly than that, was actually quite known in my day for putting my hands on men who thought they could put their hands on women. But that is a story for another day. It is not a story suitable for the airwaves of ESPN, evidently, and that is a subject that I will stay away from in the future, because I kind of like my money and my job, all right?
And I am standing with none other than Mr. Stephen A. Smith. How's it going, Mr. Smith?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Great, great. Now, welcome to Columbus. Is this your first time being in Columbus, Georgia?
Yes, it is, and it's my first time being here as well.
Great. So what are your thoughts on Columbus?
Right now, I mean, I haven't seen much of it. I just went over to speak to the kids on campus a few hours ago. My man Sam Mitchell, who I've known for about 20 years, had me come over and do that, and now I'm here tonight, so I'm excited about it.
Wonderful. He's here with the SAMARC Foundation, did a great thing with the young man. What kind of things did you talk about to the youngsters?
Just talking to them about hard work, perseverance, making sure that they understand that nothing is given to them, that you're going to have to work for everything that you want, and anything that's worth having is worth working for. Don't look for shortcuts. Make sure you put forth the necessary effort and understand that people are going to measure you not just by your effort, but by your character and the kind of person that you are. And you got to be mindful of all of that.
Wonderful. Now, you are a person, especially in journalism, I admire someone who gets paid to say how they feel on the air. What is it like being Stephen A. Smith?
I wouldn't know. I'm just doing me. You know, I don't give it much thought in terms of me being anybody special. When people look at me on television and they say, well, you know what, he gets paid to express his thoughts or opinion or whatever, I appreciate that and I understand it because that was always my goal. But my background is in journalism. I've been a professional journalist for over 20 years. And so I had to climb a lot of ladders, had to climb a lot of charts. I started off as an intern at the Winston-Salem Journal, covering stuff out there in the farms in Kernersville, North Carolina. I went from there to the Winston-Salem Journal, where I did stuff along the same lines. I did an internship in the sports department at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I came back and did another internship in Winston. I started off as an editorial assistant at the Greensboro News and Record doing school lunch menus and calendar items and birth listings. And that was in work time, but in my off time, I was doing high school reporting from 7 p.m. to midnight for free. You know, and then I started off as a high school writer, became a college writer, became a pro writer, a backup pro writer, then a pro writer, then an NBA columnist, then a columnist, and it was all before television. And so for me, when I look at it, it was an arduous road. Nothing came easy to me. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifices on a personal level that was made over a significantly long period of time. I didn't just arrive here yesterday, but I think that people tend to see that because they see you on television, and that's what they think. No, it might look glitz and glamour, but it's hard work. But it took a lot of hard work to get to that point.
Now let me ask you this, as a journalist, and you've been doing this for a long time before internet and Facebook and Twitter were out. When people take your comments and run with them, and everybody has the right to disagree, but do you feel that some journalists looking for their spot purposely take your stuff and run with it just for fame? And how do you feel about the state of how things are today with Twitter and Facebook and how people take
Well, I'm sure people do that, but that, I mean, that happens in any industry, in any walk of life. Anytime you have something or you're perceived as being near or at the top of the mountain, you're going to have people trying to knock you down. And you know, one of the statements that I remember my pastor made to me a long time ago that I never, ever, ever forget, he said, those who have never bumped into the devil, it's usually because they're walking with him. So I remember that, and that's a profound statement that I hold on to because you're gonna run into adversity, you're gonna run into trials and tribulations, and it's how you handle it. But when you're the kind of person that invites it because you take joy and pleasure in the misery of others, then that's somebody that's walking with the devil, and they got their own problems. So I don't really worry about them because I'm gonna keep on marching and I'm gonna do what I do. I've been knocked down many times. I'm gonna be knocked down again. But I'm going to keep getting up until I don't have breath in my body. And last time I checked, I breathe pretty good each day. So I'm pretty fine and I'm good, and it is what it is.
Yes, sir. Now, what are you going to talk to the adults about tonight?
Well, I'm going to talk to them about a lot of things. I mean, obviously, when you're an adult, particularly when you're associated with a foundation like this and some of the work that they do here at SAMARC, you got to remember that you got to give back because that's what Sam and Mark had pledged to do many, many years ago when they were just children. I've known Sam Mitchell for almost 20 years. I don't know Mark that well. I've just met him, but I know Sam Mitchell for 20 years. That's my man. We go back a very, very long ways, and he's a dear friend to me. Like a brother. I love him dearly, and that's the reason I'm here, because he asked me to be here. And I know that anything that he's associated with that has anything to do with trying to give something back to the community is an incredible, incredible cause and worthy of all of our support. So that's why I'm here on his behalf to do my little part to help him, because I know he's always trying to extend a helping hand to help those who are younger and particularly less fortunate than himself or the rest of us. And so I think that's a beautiful cause. It's what it's all about, and I'm happy to do it.
Wonderful. One final question. You get to talk a lot. You get to express how you feel a lot. Is there anything people don't know or anything that you don't get asked a lot that you would like to leave with people?
No, nothing in particular. I mean, I like my anonymity. I wish I had more of it. I don't like being a celebrity per se. That's what people call me. I certainly don't call myself that. But as you look at the success of First Take with myself and Skip Bayless, and you look at my career on SportsCenter and radio and stuff like that, clearly I've been put in the spotlight, and I'm a recognizable figure, and that makes me somebody that's going to be held accountable in every walk of life. I'm a public figure now, and so I understand it. I accept it. I don't always like it. Because I like my privacy. I like going to the movies without being bothered. I like to be able to go out to the dinner with my mama and not be interrupted. And I remember I was at a basketball game and I told Will Smith and Denzel Washington this one time. I said, people want your autograph. Y'all got it easy. They want your autograph. They want your picture. Me, they want a debate. So my life is not peaceful, but it's what I signed up for. I knew what I was getting into. I never dreamed that I would enjoy the success that I'm enjoying, but nevertheless, it comes with a price. And that's a price that I'm willing to pay because I knew what I was signing up for, and I just got to deal with it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
You so much for what you're doing out here at SAMARC. And thank you for watching Columbus Connections.